Hey there, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and share the broadcast with your friends. I do appreciate it. Hey, Andre, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. How are you doing? God bless you. I hope that you are doing fine. Amen. Amen. Bring them on camera. Oh, okay. I got it. I got it. God bless you. Go ahead and invite your friends. Let me invite a few more people. Then I'm going to get started. Well, praise him, praise him, praise him. I give God thanks for another Thursday, for allowing me to come and just share what's on my heart and on my mind with his people today. So I bless God for what he's doing. I bless him for what he's doing in the land, the sea, the air, and even under the sea. I bless God for all the viewers that may be viewing. I bless God for those that will come and even watch the replay. We thank God for another Thursday, first Thursday of this new month, November. We thank God for the endless possibilities that this month is going to usher in for us. But at the same time, we just want to just be aware of life itself. Just not to take for granted the days that God has given us. Take not for granted the blessings that God has given us, even the people that he has placed in our life. So I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and invite your friends, if you will. I do appreciate it. And go ahead and put those comments, questions, whatever in the comment section. It's always appreciated. I do go back and read. I try to catch some of it while I am speaking at the same time. So just let me know that you're there with me. You can go ahead and put up your thumbs up, put up your hearts whenever you feel the need to do so. Just put it up there. So I just thank God for everyone that is watching. I thank God for everyone that's watching. I'm going to ask you to just share the broadcast with your friends today. And for those of you, it may be your first time on Thursday's Midday Breakthrough. I just want to introduce myself to you. I am Karen Proctor, the host of Thursday's Midday Breakthrough session. I've been doing this for just a little bit over a year. And also, I am the author of 4 amazing books. The 5th one is on the way. Prophets and Prophecy, Fulfill Your Call. Also, the CEO of Powerhouse Leadership Institute and Stepping in the Right Direction Coaching. And somebody may be saying, oh, that is a lot. Well, the Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. Some people are one-dimensional and others of us, we're not. So with that being said, once again, welcome to Thursday's Midday Breakthrough session. And we just believe the Lord today that we will have a breakthrough. And so what I want to talk about today is the power of dash. What is the power of dash? So if you see me turning my head to look at on this side, that's just to let you know that I'm looking at my laptop, because I want to read something out of a book that I wrote called Coach Me, Destiny is Calling. And if you haven't gotten your copy as of yet, I'm going to ask you to reach out to me, inbox me for your copy. Now, understand that every purchase of this book is going straight to charity. So I gain nothing from it, but in the way of finances, but I gain a lot by just pouring in and helping to do what I can do in a small way. And why don't you help me by lifting up my hands and getting your copy today? Coach Me, Destiny is Calling. I see Eloise Humphrey there. She has her copy. So I thank God for that. So today I'm going to talk about the power of dash. And again, like I said, if you see me turning my head this way, it's because I'm trying to read from the book. So I want to start out with Psalms 90 and verse 12. Psalms 90 and verse 12. It says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. That's Psalms 90 and verse 12. So I'm going to jump right in and talk about the power of dash. So I write, to every living thing, there is a beginning and a ending. There is a beginning and a ending. So if life on this earth was perpetual, there would be no need for a living will. If we were going to live perpetually on this earth, meaning forever and ever, we would not need a living will. And so because life on this earth is not perpetual, we need a living will. And life is not an adventure, nor is it meant to be lived vicariously. Life is not an adventure, and it's not to be lived vicariously. And what I mean by this, we know vicariously mean looking at life, seeing life through the eyes of someone else's. You're on the sideline watching what someone else is doing, living your life through them. You see this person, they get up, they do it, they make things happen, whether they want to take a trip, whether they want to write a book, whether they want to go back to school, whether they want to end a relationship, whether they want to bungee jump, and you're sitting on the sideline and you're looking and just living your life vicariously through them. And oftentimes this is what parents do, because they did not do certain things that they always wanted to do. And so they try to push their children to do those things, living their life vicariously through their children. So I want to ask you, no, not ask you, but I want to say to you today, take the journey and do life and not allow life to happen to you. Take the journey, do life, and not allow life to happen to you. We're on the second day of the 11th month of this year. And so we have one more month before we get to the end of the year. And this year will be over. And I know that some of us, when the new year came in, we made all kind of promises, all kind of resolutions, saying that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to start over, we're going to lose weight, we're going to travel more, we're going to laugh more, we're going to just live more. And as we look at the 11th month, some of you can just literally check off that list. I did not do this, I did not do that, I did not do this. Everything I said I was going to do. So I want to encourage you to take the journey and do life and not allow life to do you. So the power of dash. The power of dash. Dash is a punctuation mark used to separate written thoughts when a comma does not fit, nor semicolon or parenthesis. So the dash separates the beginning from the end of something, such as a sentence or life. In this case, I want to say separate. What is it separating? Life. The dash is the middle of the date you were born and the date your life will expire. Yes. So this is the power of dash. It separates the day you were born and the day that your life will expire. So in the middle is the power of dash. You had no choice in the matter on the day that you were going to be born. No, I did not have a choice that I will be born May 6th. I did not have a choice that my mother and father got together. Daddy, mama sitting there on the wall in the evening of the house, that her parents' house, and my daddy coming from work in the afternoon and passing by, always seeing her. And then one day something happened. They got together, they got married, and they had baby girl. They had me, number 6 of 7 children. So we have no control over the beginning, the day that we were born. We have no control over the day that our life will expire. But we do have power in the middle. And so that's the power of dash. Yes, we do have control over those things, those in between things. And the Bible also says in the book of Acts, he says, God knew where he was going to put every man, every kindred, every nation. He knew what country that he was going to sit those people in. But here's the thing. He give us somewhat a little bit of control in the middle. And that's the power of dash. So you have no control over the date that you were born and on the date that you will expire. But you do have the most control. What you do have the most control over is what occurs in the middle, which symbolizes the dash. For the most part, you had no say as to who would be your parents. I just said this. You had no part on who would be your parents, what your ethnicity would be, your sex, the genes that's in your body, nor the place where you were born. All of these factors in your life mark the beginning of your existence, which contributes to the role that you play in life. Yes, somebody may say, I don't have a clue. I don't have nothing to do with this. Yes, you do. You have the power of dash in the middle. And so with that being said, you are the leading star in your story's life. Yes, you are the leading star. You play the leading role in the story of your life. And sometimes people are sitting there waiting for someone else to make something happen for them. I hear a lot of people, even in the circle that I'm in ministry, you hear people saying, oh, I need a door open for me. I need somebody to open the door for me that I can go and preach or whatever. But honey, let me tell you something. This is what I mean when I talk about the power of dash. You can't sit there and wait for somebody to make something happen for you. I know that God uses people. Yes. Yes, God uses people to help us. God uses me to help people. God uses people to help me. Yes, but for the most part, you are in control of what take place in the middle. We're talking about the power of dash. You had no control over the day you were born, and for the most part, you have no control over the day that you're going to expire on this earth. As long as a man lives, he's surely going to die unless he's designed to be here for the rapture. But with that being said, that thing, that dash in the middle is what you have control over. Again, you are the leading star in your story's life. Don't sit there and wait for somebody to make things happen for you. Some people say, oh, I always wanted to swim, learn how to swim, but my mother never took me to swimming lessons. My dad never took me to swimming lessons. And we blame everything on everybody. Yes, some of those things may be true. Yes, we may have not gotten the best opportunities in life sometimes, depending on your family circumstances. Yes, it is true. Sometimes we don't get the best circumstances in our life, according to the way in which we were brought up and who our parents are. But when you become an adult, it is your time to take control over the things that you are doing. When you become an adult, it is your time to take control over the things that happen in your life. You can't sit there and cry over spoiled milk saying, oh, mama didn't do this for me, daddy didn't do this for me, or my brother, he's the one that got the good clothes, I got the leftovers, or they sent this one to school and they didn't send me to school, or you know, when it was time for that raise, that you are the one that's always being passed over. Well, can I tell you that God has given you gifts and talents beyond where you are or where you came from? Yes, that's right. God has given you gifts and talents to bring you and take you, shall I say, beyond where you came from. And so this is the power of dash. You write your life story. You make it happen. Yes, the Bible tells us, he say, a just man falleth 7 times and he get back up. So what am I saying to you is, just because you had a fall, just because you had a delay, just because you had a setback in life, does not mean that you should not get up again and try again. I was just speaking to someone just yesterday evening, and they were talking about all the years that they just really felt like they had wasted a lot of years, a lot of years in a particular situation. But I said to that person, well, those are the years that's gone. You can't get those back. All of those years, 30 years is behind you. You cannot reach back and pull those 30 years forward. No, those 30 years are gone. But what you can do is move forward. Move forward in the days that God have in front of you. Every single day that you are awoken on this earth, that you are clothed in your right mind and you have your health and your strength, that is the power of dash, that you can make something happen. And when you become a certain age, as I was speaking with this person on yesterday, and when you become that certain age, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time to waste to say, to keep looking back over your shoulder saying about the 30 years that you wasted in something. Half of those years are behind you. You can't get those years back. So what you really have to do is look forward to the days and the years that are before you. You don't know what your expiration date is going to be. And that's why it is imperative that you make the best use out of every single day. Yes, you may not get it right today, but because you did not get it right today, it does not negate the fact that you can't start over again tomorrow. So many great people had the opportunity to start over again. And if they just really looked at the failure that they had, they wouldn't have never gone forward to say, well, let me try this again. Maybe I did this the first time and it didn't work. They didn't sit there and waddle in their pity. What they did is pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and did it again. And sometimes you may go to one area and it does not, you're trying to sell a product, and maybe in this area your product is not selling, but you know that God has given you this product to sell. So what you do is take yourself, pick yourself up, and go to the next side of town. Remember, you are the leading star. You are the leading star in your life story. Just because your product didn't sell over here does not mean that God don't have a set of people on the other side of town that will buy into your product. And so we really can't just sit there and waste time, because time is winding up. And you may say, well, that sounds cliche. Yes, time is winding up. Well, it is. Time is winding up, because as you know yourself and as I know myself, we're not the same age as we were last year. And even today, we're not the same age, because guess what? One more day was added unto our life. So yes, time is winding up. Whatever it is that God has placed in your heart, and you have just been sitting there on the sideline watching other people, or just simply afraid to step out. No, how can this thing ever happen if you let fear choke you and fear grip you? God has not given you the spirit of fear. He's given you power. He's given you love. And he has given you a sound mind. And the power of God can just dominate the fear that the enemy would try to place in you to stop you from fulfilling that middle, fulfilling what's in the middle of that expiration date, the time you was born, the dash, and then your expiration date. And so what I really want to convey to you today is to get up and do something. Get up and make it happen. Yes, whatever it is that is set before you today, time is winding up. You write the story. Don't wait for somebody else to write your story. I know that there are ghost writers out there that try to write for people, but you're the best author of your own life. You're the one that dictates what happened and does not happen in your life. And of course, me being Christian, that's with God. That's what with God. But God has placed you in this earth for a purpose, for a reason, and for a season. Yes, for a purpose, for a reason, and for a season. And everything come to an end. Yes, everything come to an end. I may be here with you today, and nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So guess what? Even when you don't feel like it, you have to get up. You have to muster the strength from somewhere. You have to just reach down on the inside and pull on that joy button. If somebody else is not clapping for you or applauding for you, that's okay. God gave you two hands. You can clap for yourself. If you're waiting for someone to applaud for you, you put the right hand with the left hand and bring them together and begin to applaud yourself. So I said, you are the leading star in your life story. No one could play your role in life better than you, because it was written especially for you. Have you ever seen actors or actresses? They went and auditioned for a role. They didn't get the part. Or it can be like this. That person did audition for the part. I think this is a better analogy. This person did not audition for the part. No, they did not run there to the casting call. But someone called them. Someone knocked on that door because they had you in mind. This person, this role was written strictly for this person. Some roles are written just for you. You are the star of your life. You had no say in the matter when you was going to be coming on planet Earth. But now that you're here, make the best of your time. You don't have nothing to do with when you leave. Those are 2 dates that you came in this world that was already marked. But you have a lot of control of what's in the middle. There is power in that little dash. And I said dash is the punctuation that is used when a comma, a semicolon, exclamation mark cannot suffice. But this dash has a way of joining two things together, joining your lives together. I know that many of us, we've gone to funerals over and over. And, you know, people will get up there and speak on behalf of that person to say words. We call it a eulogy. They will talk about, somebody would say, well, I know her when she was growing up, when she was a little girl. And then somebody else will talk on the end of your life. All of that stuff in the middle. And then somebody else will say, you know what? I just talked to him yesterday. I didn't know that he was dying the next day. And so everything they said in the middle is the power of dash. And again, you are the leading lady. You are the leading gentleman in your life that dictates how the wheel is going to be turned. And yes, you may be saying, oh, again, I want to harp back on that again. Somebody may be saying, well, you know, I came from this background. I was abused. I was neglected. I was abandoned. I was looked over. I was mistreated. That may be very well true. It may be so true. But you have a chance. You have a chance to start over. You have a chance to create what's left in your life. Some people do what we call a bucket list. These are all the things that I want to accomplish before I leave here. And I can hear somebody saying, oh, that sounds so morbid for you to be talking about something like that. But here's the thing. It's the real deal. It's the real deal. Yes, it may be sounding morbid, but I may be challenging somebody to get up and live again. Get up and do what God has called you to do. And you write a bucket list, and before you know it, you can't walk no more. You can't talk no more. You can't do the things that you used to do. So while you still have your faculties, while you still have the strength in your body, get up, take advantage of the things that God has promised you. God has laid some things on your heart. God has spoken to you. And you're saying, Lord, come on, help me. Lord, help me to do it. How can you expect God to help you to do it if you don't get up and take some kind of step? Surely if he has placed these things in your heart and he's given you the talent, he's going to give you favor. The Bible even tells us that when a man ways please God, even his enemies has to be at peace with him. So we have no excuse. We have to just really be aware of that dash that's in the middle of our life. And it's sort of like a time clock. You know, if you had a time clock, I don't have one in front of me. This is just something a thought just came to my mind. But you know, when you have a time clock, it's full of some little pottery substance, and you turn it over, the substance is to the top. But as you turn it over, you see the substance begin to slowly drip, slowly drip, slowly drip, until all of that dust, particles, whatever it is down to the bottom. And so that's like life. Life is ticking, 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 tick, tock, tick. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to get up and live life and stop living life vicariously through somebody else, or watching what somebody else is doing and not making the best of what God has called you to the planet Earth to do? There is some things on this earth that are reserved only for you to do. And then there's sometimes when God has called you to do something and you were going to be the star in this matter, but you didn't step up to the plate. And so therefore God have to pass you over and give that thing to somebody else. And then you sit back and you say, oh my God, I had that thought. I had that idea. Oh, I was going to do something just like that. And then you reach to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mother, father, your husband, your wife, whomever it is that you have shared that idea with. And you said, remember, I told you that I was going to do that. And look at that person. That person is making a killing out of what I said I was going to do. Well, sometimes when you don't tap into the power of dash, God just simply have to pass you by sometimes and give that thing to somebody else. So I just really, really, really want to encourage you to just move on in your life. And I know that you may have been bitten sometimes. You may have been lied on sometimes. You may have been cheated on sometimes. You may have been rejected. You have been, may have been neglected. You may have been talked about. You may have been viewed as not good enough. But try again. No one can play your role in life better than you, because it was written especially for you. There are moments in your life that deserve Academy Award, and there's others, let's just say, we just want to keep it moving to the next act, or perhaps just go on an intermission. And you probably have been on an intermission for a while and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Don't seem like it worked out before. And so you put yourself on an intermission. But today I want to tell you that your intermission period is over. I know I'm speaking to somebody. I may not be speaking to the masses, but I gotta be speaking to somebody. I know your intermission period is over. Rub yourself. Get back in the game. Get back in the game. The dash in life is not intended to make you paranoid. It is not intended to make you fearful. Instead, it is intended to remind you to fill in the gap. Fill in the gap. What are we going to do? How are we going to fill in the gap? The gap between the day we were born and the day that we're going to leave here. The dash is intended not to take you out of the game, not to make you become paranoid, not to make you fearful, but just to remind you that the clock is ticking for you to get busy and do whatever it is. Now, understand when I say get busy, I don't mean just wasting your time. Wasting your time on frivolous things, things that don't matter. I mean, get busy with doing things that matters. That even when your expiration date comes, those that come behind you would have found you faithful. That you would build a legacy that someone else can build on. That you don't become a monument, just something to graze at, not while you're living. No, you don't want to become a monument while you're living for someone just to graze upon. You want to be a part of the movement of God, that you're keep moving in the right direction. Even at my coaching practice, this is my motto: a few steps in the right direction and you will be there. All you need to do is continue to put one foot in front of the other foot, and eventually you will get there. I remember Sunday, I was driving Sunday afternoon. I was leaving one city to go to another city. And as I was driving, it seems as if I would never, ever get to my destination. It just seemed like this drive was so long. But as I continued to keep my feet on the gas pedal, I continued to drive down the highway. Before you know it, I was at my destination, all in another city. So yes, the dash is reminded for us to keep going, to not sit by on the sideline, waiting for opportunity, waiting for a chance. Sometimes you just have to take the bull by the horn. You can't be afraid to get in the game. Sometimes, again, you just simply have to take the bull by the horn. You got to get in the game. You can't sit there waiting. I woulda, I shoulda, I coulda, I doulda. And the more time we sit there and wait, I woulda, I shoulda, I coulda, I doulda, before you know it, sometimes the bread out your body and you can't do nothing. And then what it is, your family have to call the undertaker. They have to begin to write your obituary. They have to begin to plan your funeral. Yes, again, I know this sounds morbid. It may sound morbid to somebody, but I know that it's going to shake up somebody. We don't want to hear about the dash when you are laid out in front of the church or whatever your religion or nationality may be, however you guys do it. We don't want to hear about that. We want to live our best life now. Live our best life now. Don't you know some of the most powerful people, some of the most gifted people, some of the most talented people are laying 6 feet under the earth. Bones. Their bones now, the flesh, the maggot is eating up their skin now. And they talk a good game. They talked a good game, but a lot of people have not fulfilled the call of God on their life. A lot of people just sitting there waiting for night to come, night and day. And that's the only thing they're doing, waiting for night to come and day to come. But no, there is so much to you. There is so much to you. Can I tell you that you are wonderful and you are fearfully made in the image of God? During the creation process, God say, let us make man in our image. And because you are made in the image, in the likeness of God, there is greatness lying down on the inside of you. And sometimes somebody may be saying, well, yeah, I'm trying, and it just seems like I can't get a break. Sometimes you have to shift your environment. Sometimes you have to shift from the environment that you're in. Maybe it is not for you to bloom where you are. Sometimes, have you ever planted a plant in a pot, and then that plant, it just seemed like it will not come to its full potential? And some people say bloom where you are planted. Yes, I believe some of that, but I don't believe all of that, because sometimes you're planted in a pot in which you cannot bloom. And so you have to get yourself out of that pot and repot yourself in another pot, whereas you can begin to bloom. And so if you have ever planted anything from the beginning, its beginning stages, and then you take notice after you have cared for that plant for a while, you begin to take notice that that plant is growing, and that little pot that you have put that plant in initially is not sufficing anymore. So now you have to repot. Somebody say repot. And so I believe today I'm speaking to a group of people that you need to be repotted. You need to be repotted so that you can get the maximum out of the power of dash. Yes, you may need to be repotted and you're not blooming in the soil that you in, because the soil that you in just really cannot contain you in this season. So while the roots are still good, before the roots die, you may need to pluck up out of the soil that you in and repot. And so that your roots can grow and expand, and so that you can have the maximum exposure that you need in order to get to the next level in your life. So time waits on no one. The clock of life ticks as a constant reminder of the power of dash, which separates the beginning from the end. Don't live life in a rush, neither live life dragging, but live it intentional. And when you live life intentional, you just really, what you're saying is, I am celebrating the role that was created for me. When you live life intentional, you are celebrating the role that was intended and created for you. You don't just wake up and say, what am I doing today? Where am I going today? What? When you live your life intentional, you make things happen. You kind of like chart out your course. And I know that the Bible say a man's mind plans his ways, but God directs his path. But God puts something on the inside of you that will direct you into the right path. So I wanted to leave you with these nuggets. Life is a precious gift meant to be celebrated. Your life is a precious gift that's meant to be celebrated. So I ask you this question. How do you plan to celebrate your gift of life starting today? If you had to do a do-over, how are you going to do that? If you had to make a bucket list today, what will it look like? What will it look like? Let me ask you this question. Do you have a living will? That's part of living life intentional and fulfilling the dash in the middle. You don't want to leave people crazy. Somebody may be saying, well, I don't have a whole bunch to leave a will. But that you have, you want to make a will. This is the power of dash. Even when it comes, yes, I say, well, this may sound morbid. And so, yes. So that ties in with the living will. Even when it comes to how you want to be put away, that can also be honored. You are in control over everything in the middle till when the end comes, those people can even honor you even at the end. Do your family and friends know that you love them? How could you live all this time and not know if you are loved, or you giving your family love. Speaking to another person on yesterday, part of what I do as a Christian counselor and also empowerment life coach, they were dealing with the issue of neglect. And so that issue of neglect has tripled over into the adult life because they never heard those parents say, I love you. It's a 4-letter word, but it's so hard for some people to release that 4-letter word out of their mouth. Love. And some people say, you know what? I know my children ought to know that I love them. My husband ought to know that I love him. My wife ought to know that I love them. My sisters and brothers ought to know because I do this and I do that for them. But sometimes people just need to hear it because they figure that you're just doing those things because you have to do those things. Some people figure like, oh, okay, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my child. I have to do those things. But some people need to hear it. It's so many adult people are living right today and suffering and not really taking advantage of the power of the dash, living that best life in between the day that they was born and the day that they're going to die. They're really not living that best life because they never heard anybody say, I love you. And so they feeling abandoned, neglected, rejected. And so they don't go out to accomplish what it is that their heart desire. Well, can I tell you today, as my viewing audience, I love you. I love you with the love of Christ. I love you. If nobody told you today, if nobody told you this year or this month, I'm telling you, I love you. I love you with the love of God. Yes. So much so, I didn't feel like coming on today. To be honest with you, I'm like, what could I say? I don't want to just come on just to come on. That's not me. And I said, you know, God just spoke to my heart and say, open up your book. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Charlene. Thank you, Pamela. God say, open up the book and tell them about the power of dash. And I'm like, this ain't nothing I want to talk about. This is something I do in coaching. And I don't go on there to coach. And I call my daughter. I say, I ain't doing this. Not today. I say, I'm a little tired of this. This growing old. And my daughter really encouraged me. She said, nah, Mom. She said, you already got up. You already dressed up. She said, why don't you just say it? It may be for somebody. She said, God didn't put it in your heart for nothing. So I say, you know what? You're right. And it's not to say that, no, I was feeling bad. No, I didn't wake up feeling bad. I woke up feeling good. I feel good. It's just that I wasn't coming on here. But, you know, this may not be the typical talk that I would do. And I didn't feel that kind of typical message that God will normally give me as I share on Thursday. I didn't feel that. And that's why I say no. Even last Thursday, for those regular viewers, know that I didn't come on last Thursday because I'm like, you know what? I don't go on just to go on. It's not that I don't have nothing to do. I have plenty to do. But again, as I was shared that with my daughter, she was like, nah, Mom, go ahead. Talk about it. You may be helping somebody out. It may seem not typical of something you would normally discuss on a Thursday, but she said, God didn't place it in your spirit for nothing. You may be helping somebody out. There may be somebody today that is just dragging through life and really not cognizant of the time is ticking. The time is ticking away at our life. And even as we open up the newspapers, I don't know what area you live in. Even me being in a new area now, I'm only familiar with the paper from my hometown, Miami. Yay, Miami, 305. We had a paper there called the Miami Times, plug for the Miami Times. If you flip to the back of that section, you see what they call the obituaries. They post the people that died the week before, and sometimes 2 weeks or 3 weeks before. Sometimes when you scan it, you notice the person probably died a month ago, and you're like, oh, they just doing this funeral? Yes. Why? Because they did not take advantage of the power of dash. They did not plan in the middle what was going to happen. And so one of those things has just happened, insurance. Having a savings. Love you, cuz. Thank you for joining. Sometimes they don't have a plan. Sometimes even not having family members, but they didn't even think of to say, well, I do have a good friend, so let me give my friend power of attorney, that if something happened to me, they can make decisions for me. And so we just go through life, just living life, like I said, just dragging. Oh, whatever happened, happened. Que sera, sera. And no, God don't want us to live like that. God wants us to live our best life, our best life. Do the best that you can. And after you have done all you can do, just stand. There's nobody telling you that you got to be a rocket scientist. And nobody telling you your name got to be on the 100 billboard. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm simply saying is live your best life. Don't allow life to happen to you. No, you live life. For those of you that are just coming on the broadcast, I'm getting ready to close out. And I want to encourage you to go back and do the replay, because I do believe that there is something that was said that's going to motivate you, that's going to encourage you to take a look, to view your life, to see how you are living or how you have been living. Some things that you can straighten up, some things that you can tighten up, some things that you can make happen, some things you don't have to wait for. Like I said, some people say, oh, if she opened a door for me, if they open a door for me. You know, I friends with another person in ministry, and when we do talk every now and again, the person is always, oh, I'm waiting for God to open up a door. And one day I just literally had to tell that person, what do you keep saying you waiting for God to open up a door? God's giving you power. Knock the door open. If you feel like it's not coming to you, baby, you got to knock it open. Sometimes you got to create a door. Yes, sometimes you have to create a door, because you are gifted. You are wonderfully and you are fearfully made. You are made in the image of God. You are made in the likeness of God. When God made you, he blowed his breath in you. And just like somebody else created that door, God has gifted you likewise that you can create a door. And many of the things that I do, it's not that somebody has opened up something for me. It's the giftedness that God has placed in me. Whether I have to do the research on how to do it, whether I have to ask somebody, incorporating prayer, and before you know it, I did that. You know how the young people say, she did that. He did that. Opposed to waiting for somebody, oh, open up a door, give me an opportunity. Why don't you create a door and you be the one? You become the one that give somebody an opportunity. How about that? Let that be part of the dash in your life. So when someone is eulogizing you, they would say, you know what? That woman, that shell that's laying there, I remember she called me. And she saw greatness in me. And she gave me an opportunity. when nobody else gave me an opportunity. She the one showed me this. He's the one that told me, encouraged me to do it. Why don't you be that person? I know plenty of times people have come to me and say, you know, Karen, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. And I'd be like, huh? What did I have to do with that? Remember, like one of my friends, I remember she told me, she said, girl, I came to your office one day. This when I was working in government. She say, I was just whining and complaining about the job and doing this and that. She say, you just looked at me and say, what you gonna do about it? What did you always want it to be when you was growing up? She say, girl, she say, you pricked me. I say, really? She say, yeah, because you didn't roll with me in mourning and pity. You asked me, what you gonna do about it? Did you ever have any desires growing up? Challenge your desires. She said, I went back to my office. I got on that computer. I started looking for other jobs. And she said, girl, that's why I was able to get that job, go through the academy. She said, if you didn't tell me that, she said, I would have never did it. I would have kept sitting there moaning and complaining. I know another one of my coworkers went to school. After graduating high school, started working at the job that I met her on. And she says, Karen, you caused me to go to college. I say, me? She say, yeah. She say, I look at you and I watch you. She say, if you could do it. She say, I watch you. You're a single mom. She say, you come here, you grind hard on the job, you get up, you go get your children, do whatever you do, and you off to the campus. She said, and I said, if she can do all of that, then certainly I can do it. The girl graduated, got her BA. Before you know it, she had a master's. In fact, she had her master's before I went back to school and got mine. So you be the person. Instead of always waiting for somebody to open up a door, you be the person that the person look at and say, you know what? If that person is living their life and they're not looking at you in an eye of jealousy, they're looking at you in an eye of admiration. If that person can do it, truly I can do it. If that person has given me an opportunity, if that person has brought me under their wing, under their tutelage and showed me the way to go, surely I can create a door for somebody else. I don't have to sit here and keep waiting. Who's going to call me? Am I next? Am I next? Am I next? Instead of waiting, it's nothing wrong with waiting to be next. But what are you doing while you are waiting to be next? Remember the dash. The power of the dash. It's that in-between thing. It's what's happening in between the day you was born and the day that you die. Those 2 dates were already created for you. But that stuff in the middle is left up to you. You are the star of your life. You play the leading role. Somebody, yes, we know that there are leading ladies in Hollywood. There are leading men in Hollywood. But today, I just want to let you know that you are a leading lady. You are a leading man. You are the leading man of your life. You are the leading lady of your life. And again, as I close out, don't live your life vicariously through someone else. I know that we have a lot of parents that they feel like they have missed the opportunity to do something. So I'm going to push my child in this direction because I didn't get a chance to play football. So I'm going to push my son to do it. And that may not be what your son was created to do. And yes, your son may follow after your footsteps. Yes. He may just be gifted to follow after your footsteps. But don't live your life vicariously through someone else. As long as there is breath in your body, you have the opportunity to get up and make things happen. You write the strip. Don't allow somebody else to write your strip. Don't allow somebody else to write the strip for you. You can write your own strip. Amen. Things may not be going all together, may not come together all at once, but you can take one foot and put it in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. And before you know it, you will be there. A few steps in the right direction will be there. That's my tagline for Stepping in the Right Direction coaching. A few steps in the right direction and you will be there. Like I said on Sunday, as I was driving, it just seemed like I would never reach my destination to get from the city I was leaving to the city I was going to. But as long as I kept my feet on that gas pedal, before you know it, I saw the big sign, welcome, I'm there. So God bless you, beloved. Remember to live your life intentionally. Remember to live your life on purpose. You are the leading person in your life. You write the strip. You know what I'm trying to say. You write that. You are the director. And of course, that goes without saying, if you're viewing this, you know that I'm a Christian. So I don't have to say, you know that God is in control. Yes, with God. With God. For those persons that don't know and try to get so technical, a technicality. With God. That dash in the middle. You can make it happen. So I don't even want to say 2018. I want to say now. This month. Next month. We don't know. Tomorrow is not promised to us. So just do whatever you can do to make it the best day of your life. Get out there and do it. You can do it. So God bless you, beloved. If you haven't shared the broadcast, I'm going to ask you to share the broadcast with your friends. It's not typical of what I would bring on a Thursday. But again, I just felt like this is what God will have wanted me to say. So if you're just joining the broadcast, I'm going to ask you to go back and watch the repeat. Like, share, and comment. God bless you until we meet again.